I'm Kinda Mardenbay with Press Plus One. We're here with Andra Sheffer of the IPF. She's the Executive Director. What is the IPF, Andra?
The Independent Production Fund is actually a private fund which has an endowment now of over $30 million, which originated 20 years ago from McLean Hunter. Probably no one remembers that company, but it has since become an independent fund, and we have over the last 18 years supported Canadian television drama series, so very traditional TV drama. And a few years ago, the board of directors, who are representatives from the film and television industry, all decided that we should do something innovative and creative and launch something new in Canada. And at that point, we decided to start funding drama series, but for any platform, and that has evolved to being almost exclusively drama series for the web or for mobile devices.
So that seems quite cutting edge to me, going exclusively into web shows or web series. You've been doing it since what, 2010?
That's right, since 2010. At that time, we had to convince our board of directors that this was the right thing to do. And I remember we wanted to show them some examples of web series, and it took us weeks to dig up 2 or 3 that were actually in existence at that time. And now, in the last 2 years, that has multiplied immensely, and there's thousands and thousands of them. But it just shows how quickly this part of the industry has grown. So 2 years ago, we were really innovative, and we really did take a big leap. But we figured that the Canadian industry was in the right place at the right time. They could really take on this kind of a challenge and be very competitive internationally because no one else was doing it. And there's very little funding anywhere in the world for this either. So we really had an edge. And I think as a result, in the last couple of years, we've seen some really great stuff produced. And it is competitive, and it's amongst the best in the world. And I think our producers are really flourishing with the ability to fund some of these things.
We're doing a profiles of Canadian web shows, and a lot of the people that we've spoken to are have had funding from IPF, and are so appreciative. And quite often, a lot of them have just turned around and said, "Well, we just couldn't have got this funded otherwise. You know, it's our mom and our dad, or our parents, or our family, or friends, or people who believe in us to get it produced." So.
That is so true. I mean, there are people still out there with working in their little basements and doing what they can do with a few cents. Unfortunately, we don't have enough funds to support them all. We only fund about 12 to 15 web series a year. So we have a call for applications, in fact, and we had about 160 applications each year, which we had to narrow down to 12 or 15. So you can imagine that there's a lot of frustrated web series producers out there, some of whom do manage to go ahead with their own resources, but just having a small amount of money. I mean, we really are only talking $100,000, $200,000 to do basically 90 minutes worth of production, which is in HD and it's television quality, and everything is there as if it was television, but the format is different. They're making short episodes. They're designing them specifically for the web. So they're able to do this now with the funding that we provide, and little bits of funding from other sources. But I do feel for all the other producers that we can't fund, and there's a lot of good quality content out there that is frustrated.
Yeah. I also find that a lot of the shows are going from being online to going to television. Sanctuary had a successful run, and so tell me, is this a launching pad for a lot of web shows to go to television?
Partially it is. The ultimate goal of some of the producers is, in fact, to prove that there's an audience. And once they prove there's an audience, they can take that evidence to a broadcaster and say, you know, let's produce half hours and make this, or an hour and make this into a television series. And then there's a lot more possibility for financing, much bigger budgets, and for generating revenue by selling it to broadcasters around the world. So that is happening. But there are just as many that are designed specifically for the web. They have no intention of going anywhere else, and that's the only place they work. You know, they work as 3 or 4 minutes segments. They don't work as a half hour, and they're designed for that, and that's a great place for them to be. And they too will find portals around the world where they can sell and hopefully generate revenue, but they have no intention and wouldn't work as television series.
And very much kind of it being a creativity for creativity's sake. Also, a lot of the producers have mentioned to me about the IPF being very hands-off regarding creative control, which allows them to have more creative control as well.
Well, we figure this is their projects. They're the experts. They know what they're doing. We like to read the scripts. We sometimes give them comments, but we have certainly no control at all. They're the ultimate know-it-alls. They do know it all. And we get a little more involved on the business side in the sense that we do oversee, we look at the budgets, we look at their financing, we try to help them in the business side to exploit the projects. So we're doing everything we can in that end of it. But the creation and that comes from the heart. It's a passion piece for most of them, and they know what they want and they've got the vision and go to it. You know, that's where it all resides.
Now, you're doing something innovative again. It's called Wip, and it's online, and maybe you could tell me a little bit more about that.
Well, Wip is our dashboard, which is designed to be a hub for all good quality Canadian web series. So we hope that people will go to Wip to discover what's the latest and greatest and be able to link from our dashboard to all of the websites that are, all of the web series that are being created in the country that they should be seeing. So it'll be one-stop shopping. You can go, you can see them all, you can pick them out by genre, by quality, by demographic, and pick which ones you want to see. So I encourage everyone to look for Wip and to use it as a good resource for Canadian web series. And they can find it at www.ipf, as an independent production fund, .ca/web series.
Now, the Wip site, independent producers can do it as well.
Yes, so this is not limited only to the producers that we fund. We are now welcoming producers, Canadian producers, to submit their projects to us. We have a certain jury of qualities to make sure that the projects are really quality, and so far we're adding a few on every week, and I think we will really have a good resource there and easy access to all good quality Canadian web series in one spot, easily linked to everywhere you want to go.
Yeah, and that is kind of awesome because I know that I've gone around on the site and I've found out not just what shows there are that are Canadian web shows, but also when they're starting up, so I can kind of make a note of it in my calendar or go straight through to their website and catch up on, you know, I find it a valuable resource too. So
well, that's great. So it takes a lot of work, so I'm glad to hear that people are using it.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think that we really are very proud of the productions that we have done, and there's such a wide range. There's stuff for kids, there's stuff for adults, there's horror, there's thriller, there's romance, there's everything there. So I really encourage everyone to test it out. It's a whole new form of entertainment, and many people haven't been exposed to it yet, and they'll probably be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I think so too.